He soars through the air, showered in golden light. The sun blazes above him like an open wound in the sky. His arms are outstretched. The wind screams past his ears. For one impossible moment, Icarus feels like a god. But in ancient Greece, mortals who played God didn't just fall. They were broken. And the story of how Icarus reached those heights is far darker than the fall itself. To understand Icarus, you first have to understand his father. Daedalus was the greatest mind Athens had ever produced. An architect, an inventor, a sculptor, so gifted his statues seemed to breathe. Kings begged for his genius, cities paid fortunes for his designs. He was worshipped, and he knew it. That worship became a poison. When his sister sent her young son Perdix to study under him, Daedalus saw something dangerous. The boy was 12 years old, barely a child. But Perdix was extraordinary. He invented the saw after studying a fish's spine. He invented the compass by watching a bird's wing. Daedalus watched his nephew's brilliance bloom, and something rotted inside him. Not pride, not admiration, envy. Cold, breathless, murderous envy. One afternoon, standing on the high cliffs of the Acropolis, Daedalus made a choice. He threw Perdix from the edge. The boy didn't die. The goddess Athena, watching in horror, transformed him mid-fall into a partridge. But the act was witnessed. The truth spread through Athens like wildfire. Daedalus, the genius of geniuses, had murdered a child out of jealousy. He was exiled, stripped of his status, driven from the city he had helped to build. He fled across the Aegean Sea to the island of Crete, and there a far more dangerous king was waiting. King Minos of Crete was not a man who asked for favors. He made demands, and you obeyed. He gave Daedalus a workshop, resources, and a royal command. "Build for me," the king said. "Build anything I need." Daedalus complied. He always complied. But what Minos needed would haunt Daedalus for the rest of his life. The king's wife, Queen Pasiphae, had been cursed by the god Poseidon, cursed with an unnatural obsession with the king's prized bull. She came to Daedalus with a request so grotesque it should have stopped him cold. But he was arrogant and loved a challenge. Whatever moral line Daedalus still had, he crossed it in that workshop. The result was the Minotaur, half man, half bull, entirely monstrous. It was born screaming, and it never stopped. King Minos was horrified, humiliated, furious. He instructed Daedalus to build something to house the beast. Daedalus designed the Labyrinth, an endless maze of tunnels beneath the palace at Knossos, walls that curved back on themselves, passages that led nowhere. The Minotaur was placed inside, deep in the dark, a perfect prison. Every 9 years, 14 young Athenians were sent into that maze. None returned. Daedalus had built a machine for ritual murder, and Minos, satisfied, turned his gratitude into a cage. The king sealed Daedalus in a tower above the palace, the greatest mind in the world, locked away with his own guilt. His only companion was his son, Icarus, born in Crete, raised in captivity. Too young to understand what his father had done. Daedalus stared at the sea. He stared at the sky. Minos controlled every ship, every port, every road off the island. But Minos did not control the air. Daedalus began to collect feathers. Every bird that landed near the tower was watched, studied, measured. He spent months gathering feathers, sorting them by size, by weight, by curve. He melted wax. He threaded linen. He constructed 2 pairs of wings, not costumes, not symbols, real engineered wings designed to carry human weight. When they were finished, Daedalus knelt before his son. His voice was steady, but his hands were trembling. "Fly the middle course," he said. "Not too low. The sea spray will weigh down your feathers and drag you under. Not too high. The sun will melt the wax and take everything from you. Stay between the two, Icarus. Stay in the middle." Icarus listened. He nodded. He was smiling, the kind of smile that meant he had already stopped listening. They leapt from the tower together, and for a few minutes it was miraculous. The wind caught them. The island of Crete shrank below like a discarded stone. Daedalus flew steadily, carefully, eyes fixed on the horizon. Icarus flew with something else entirely. He tilted his wings, he spiraled, he laughed at the gulls scattering below him. He rose, just a little at first, then more. The air up here was different, thinner, warmer. The sun pressed down on his shoulders like a hand, not a warning, a welcome. That's how it felt. He rose higher. The wax along his wing joints began to soften. One feather drifted off, then another, then a cascade. The wings went rigid, then wrong, then nothing. Icarus hung in the air for one suspended second, arms wide, the sea glittering far below, and then he fell. Some say he screamed, that he called out for his father in sheer blind panic, that the terror hit him all at once, every inch of the drop. But others tell it differently. They say Icarus laughed, that to fall from that height means you once truly soared, that for one impossible moment, a boy born in a prison had become something the gods themselves stopped to watch. Daedalus searched the water below him until he found the feathers floating on the surface. Nothing else remained. He named the sea the Icarian Sea. Then he flew on, alone. The greatest inventor who ever lived, carrying the weight of everything he had built and everything he had destroyed.